This evening on House and Home, our Besta mum Miriam makes a delicious Besta cabbage stew on the Cooking with Besta segment. It's more quality buys at affordable prices over at Brown Bell, and we get to learn a thing or two on land surveying from the Association Surveyors of PNG. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me for another House and Home show. It's always a pleasure having your company. Well, today marks Remembrance Day for Papua New Guinea. The day we as Papua New Guineans pay tribute to our fallen heroes who lost their lives in military battle, strategically defending our country back in the war as well as our homeland's national security to this very day. This morning, residents of Port Moresby gathered at the Remembrance Park at Ella Beach and paid tribute to our fallen heroes for their immense sacrifice taken to secure our freedom, resulting in the life we enjoy today. We will always be eternally grateful. Lest we forget. To kickstart our show for this evening, we join our Besta mum Miriam over at the House and Home kitchen for some cooking with Besta.
It's the tastiest tuna in a can. It's the new Besta tuna chunks in 185 grams, packed with 100% premium white meat goodness. The finest export quality tuna is now available nationwide in oil and brine. Besta tuna chunks and Bestia, proudly PNG made.
Good night everyone, and welcome to another Cooking with Besta program. For tonight's recipe is Besta cabbage stew. In front of me we have a pinch of red pepper flakes, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons minced garlic, a 1/4 cup canola oil, 4 plum tomatoes, or you can use 1 ripe tomato, 1 times can 6-ounce tomato paste, 1 diced onion, a cup of water, and our main ingredient, Besta mackerel in tomato sauce in 425 grams. And not forgetting our 1 large boiled cooked cabbage. Our first step is to boil the cabbage with a slightly salt water, which we already did. So now we already lit our stove. So we'll add in our cup of oil. Put in our garlic. Add in our onion. Cook until our onions are translucent. Okay, we add in our tomatoes. Stir. Cover the lid and leave it to boil for about 10 minutes. While waiting, mix 1 cup water and the tomato paste to make a smooth paste. We add in our tomato paste. Okay viewers, we'll stir and then we cover the lid for another 5 minutes. While waiting for the tomato paste to heat up or boil, mash the mackerel and then we add into our pot. Stir so all the ingredients are mixed well. Okay viewers, we add in a pinch of red pepper flakes and a pinch of salt for taste. Stir it up again. And then we add in our boiled cabbage. stir so all the ingredients are combined well. Okay viewers, our Besta cabbage stew is now ready to be served. Okay viewers, and here you have it, Besta cabbage stew. You can never go wrong when cooking with Besta in mackerel sauce. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me again next week same time. It's Besta, pride of PNG.
It's the tastiest tuna in a can. It's the new Besta tuna chunks in 185 grams, packed with 100% premium white meat goodness. The finest export quality tuna is now available nationwide in oil and brine. Besta tuna chunks and Bestia, proudly PNG made.
Perfect to have in this sort of weather. Thank you, Miriam, and we look forward to what you have in store for us next week. Well, as I mentioned, the 23rd of July is a public holiday in Papua New Guinea and marks the anniversary of the first engagement and one of the bloodiest campaigns by the PNG and Australian forces against the invading Japanese in World War II. We can't even fathom the terror of the war our heroes endured. But from the hell of it all, a special bond was formed and has bound PNG and Australia ever since. Over the Owen Stanley Range along the Kokoda Trail was where one of the bloodiest battles ever erupted. And it was there where our combined forces ended it, driving the Japanese back to where they first beached, along Buna and Gona on the Oro Province coastline. By January 22, 1943, the Japanese resistance in Papua ended. Just a little history, in brief, of this historical day to share. We'll return with more at House and Home after these messages. And taking us to our break, here are some highlights of the craft market that was held over the weekend at the Cassowary Park over at the Holiday Inn. See you soon. Welcome back, and you're watching House and Home. For those of you who just managed to tune in, welcome. I don't know if any one of you watching have noticed the influx of vehicles on the roads. Now I mentioned something similar 3 to 4 months ago regarding the number of cars that are currently running on our roads today. We're in the back end of July, soon to head into August, and I'm quite certain the numbers have increased dramatically 3 to 4 months on. Now, having said that, we've also noticed an increase of breakdown of vehicles on our roads, and a lot of these breakdowns could have been easily avoided with simple care and attention. We now join our friendly mechanic to give us an education or refresher course for some.
Now this is a very important segment as we will be talking a lot about the importance of keeping our vehicles safe on the road and of course giving you tips on how to know certain things about your vehicle and how to use it well. Tonight I have Vincent with me, who is a professional mechanic, and he will be telling me about the importance of keeping my vehicle safe. Good evening, Vincent.
Good evening, Susan, and the viewers as well.
Yeah, thank you for coming in and talking to us about what's really under the hood. Can you tell us what is under the hood of a vehicle?
Well, under the hood you have a complete engine which is under the hood, basically with the engine component. With the engine you have there's so many electrical things which are all connected onto the engine, and so many parts that are very vital related to the engine.
So tell me about the engine oil.
With the engine oil, the engine oil is poured into the engine, which this is your filler cap, and this is the dipstick where you check the engine oil. All right, so when you want to check oil, normally you have to, pull the dipstick out, make sure that you use a rag, you dry it out, and then fit it back on. This is where you make sure that the oil levels are always on the specified marks, So in this case, you see, there's a full mark and you got a low mark. So basically, this is your way you check your oil lay.
But since we have different vehicles, like we've got automatic vehicles, the manual ones, we also have the ones that feed on diesel and petrol, do they all use the same type of oils, or do they differ?
Well, with there are certain vehicles, some have manual drives and some have automatic drives. With the automatic drives, there's a fluid which they call automatic transmission fluid, and with the manuals they use gear oil, which is much more heavier than the transmission fluid. And with the mechanism, the manuals, you're a driver yourself, and the manuals you use clutch to change your gears. With the automatic, they self-change, it's automatic, so you don't need to change the gears. You just put it on drive. Only certain areas where you have to change, you can always put it on shift, put it on, especially when you're going uphill. So that's basically an automatic.
So with automatic and the manual vehicles that we have, the brake fluids, are they the same or do they differ?
Yeah. Basically, you use the same fluid.
Okay, where do we find the brake fluid?
This is where your brake fluid is. That's only for automatics. You find that they have only one reservoir.
Right.
One reservoir bottle. With the clutch, there's two. You have a smaller one, which is called a clutch master cylinder. In this case here, we have automatic, and we don't have a clutch master on it. This is your brake master cylinder. When you doing your checks, like every morning, you make sure that this the master cylinder reservoir doesn't run out of fluid. Make sure that they remain in the maximum level. Yeah. In this case, well, this one is okay. This little container here, it's called a power steering reservoir. This one is very, very important because when you check, make sure that the fluid is enough in there. Because if it's empty, then you feel that your steering will be very heavy because it's operating by with the power steering system. For this is your coolant. This is your coolant for the radiator. That's your reservoir. And make sure that it's always this container. It has to have make sure that the coolant is enough in there, on the maximum level there.
Okay, what does the coolant do? It just goes straight down to the radiator.
Yeah, basically the coolant is there to make sure that your radiator doesn't rust.
Okay.
It prevents rust. That's the basic thing.
Okay, it doesn't prevent overheating of the radiator?
No, not really necessary, but really it's very important because sometimes when you're having a water pump problem and you have water leaking, certainly that coolant doesn't help,
Right.
So you make sure that your fan operates and make sure there's no water leaking,
Okay.
But in this case, because it's a new car, obviously won't have any problem with that.
What's the alternative if there's no coolant?
Well, water, normal water is okay. tap water, rainwater, and make sure that you have water in there. Without, without water, certainly you'll have a problem with low in water with the radiator.
All right. How about this one? What is this cylinder here? What does it
That's
do?
your wiper bottle, wiper washer bottle. So these two, when you're doing your checks every morning, you make sure that there's water. In this case here, this one's almost empty. So you make sure that it's always filled up, because when it's, especially when we have dry season now, and we need our windscreens to be clean at all times. So make sure that it's visible.
Once again, we have different vehicles that we use, like as we mentioned, automatic and manual. Tell me a little bit about the batteries. Are they the same? Do they use the same batteries, or are there different levels of or types of batteries that we need to use for different vehicles?
Well, basically all the batteries are the same, but certain vehicles have different sizes of batteries. In this case here, we have it's an N50 battery, which is the normal size for this type of cars. With the batteries, with the automatics, you have to make sure that your charging system operates, and this is your alternator, which is the one that's charging this battery. So make sure that is operating. Later we'll go into the water and I'll show you where the battery light illuminates. So with the automatics, like I said, make sure that your charging system is okay. Sometimes your charging system will be okay, but then your battery is starting to lose energy, so which means that the cells are already going, so make sure that if you start having a problem starting like every morning, which means that the battery is not holding charge. So you will have to, get a new battery as soon as possible, ASAP. But if you get the thing that I would like to advise is that if you're having trouble like every morning, like sometimes you probably might starting problem. So you make sure that you get someone to have a look at it. So especially when ladies are driving automatic cars, the cars, it's very, sometimes, you'll be concerned as well, Yes. Especially your husbands will say, oh, I'll make sure that my wife is, in the safe hands, and, so you make sure you get someone to have a look at it, a professional guy, to give you better advice. With the battery is the one that starts your vehicle, and it's the one that gives power to the starter motor to have your engine turn over. Okay, so this is your starter motor. So, like I said, so there's so many ways that you might come into problems with batteries, like electrical side. So make sure you have your battery checked, charging system checked. Make sure that your starter motor is all right, so you don't run into problems here. So that's basically very important for automatics. But with the manuals, you'll never have any problems, because although it's flat, but if people who knows how to start a manual car, then they have to either jump start or they push start. So with the automatics, you cannot do anything. Yeah.
How often do we check the water level or the fluid levels on our battery?
Well, with batteries, you can always check them like every service. Like I would say 3 months would be better. Like if you're doing your oil changes, filter changes, you also have your battery checked. You make sure that some batteries are not visible light. In this case here, you have a check light. With some batteries, you don't have it, but you'll have lines on the side here. Like for this one here, it's black and you can't tell whether it's got water in there, but this is a dry cell battery. Okay, so with batteries like Rocket, Yokohama, they have water levels. So when you check that your battery water level is low, there's always battery water sold at the auto parts. So sometimes, probably used to have water, but I rather prefer to use battery water. So that's it. Like I've already said, explained that some batteries, you can't see the water level line. But with the ones that are clear, they have low and maximum level. If the water is low, you make sure that water is up to that level so that you don't have battery losing its or discharging or losing energy. Okay.
So Vincent, say I'm in the village and I don't have access to the auto parts. What can I use to fill up my battery?
Well, with emergency reasons, I'd rather use creek water or maybe tank water if there's no rain.
Right. So that won't damage the vehicle. It's okay to use the water to refill.
Well, I won't guarantee that, but if I were you, if it really takes me to town, I will source for a new battery. Basically, I'd like to advise the owners of the vehicles that, especially engines, when they are running, the engines are getting very, very hot, So they go as far as 90 degrees, That's very, very hot, But when you experience overheating, you have a gauge which is on your dashboard, temp gauge, which tells you cold, you got halfway mark, and you got a H mark, which is hot. So if you, while driving around and you experience your gauge rising up, passing the halfway mark, obviously you having cooling system, problem, eh? So you rather seek for or go to a nearest workshop and ask them if they can assist you on that side, overheating side. Ask them if they can advise, help, explain to you why. And in most cases, if you you got to take cautions, especially on the radiator side. Once some people, they go and they stop on the side of the road and then they try to check the radiator, and which is not safe for especially ladies and some men who don't know about vehicles. So it's better to just park on the side and call someone and then they can speak to them over the phone, or if you have a mobile phone, call them and tell them, this is what am I going to do? Do I have to park on the side and open the radiator? And they'll give you a better advice, but don't try to go yourself. Try to open the bonnet and try to inspect what the problem is, and don't try to open the radiator, because on the radiator cap it certainly tells you cautions, so which you have to read before you do anything.
What's there to indicate to us that we're running low on fluids?
Well, when you have your lights which indicates on the dash when you put the ignition on, and which I will show you. So this is your ignition. So when you turn the ignition on, it tells you or shows you your battery light and oil light, and you got your fuel gauge. That's your, so when your fuel is low, when it's below E, there's a light which shows, it's an orange light, it blinks. So it gives you a warning to go to the nearest service station or server to have your vehicle refilled. This is for your temp gauges, which I've explained to you earlier on. That's the C, which is cold, and that's your halfway mark there, and that's your H. H is when the engine gets very, very hot. With most new vehicles, they have these heat sensors, or they call it temperature sensor. When the engine is overheating, it just cuts the engine out. And also, it also shows like this orange light here. It already indicates that there's a faulty tail lamp, which is good. And also the engine light comes on as well. So the engine light comes on when there's a faulty with the engine.
After the break, we get to learn a thing or two about land surveying.
Welcome to the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea segment here on House and Home. My name is James Murray and I'm currently the Secretary for the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea. In this segment, we'll be talking about the Survey Act, the directions of the surveyors, and surveying in general. Currently in this country, there's a lot of pressing issues with land matters that are associated with surveying. Some are not good and some are good, but we shall discuss all about that in this segment. To help you understand more about the survey profession as a whole, today with me is Luther Siperson, who is the Surveyor General for the whole of Papua New Guinea. And Luther will talk more about the Survey Act, the directions, surveying in general, and the Institute as a whole.
Thank you, Mari. I will be talking this morning on the Survey Act. Surveying is a technical field that deals with the measurement and storage of information showing locations of the features anywhere. It combines various fields of mathematics and science and physics and technology to acquire highly accurate spatial information needed by other professionals like engineers, planners, builders, land professionals, etc. for the development of any development in that case. But all this is governed by the Survey Act. That is the main legislation that regulates the practice of surveyors and how surveying is conducted in this country. The current Survey Act was enacted in 1969. It's about 40 years ago. With the changes that has taken place in this country and the advancement of technology and development in terms of human resources, the Act is outdated. And so we are in the process of reviewing that Act so that it meets current requirements. We have already held 2 sessions, one last year with the Constitutional and Law Reform Commission and the Legal Division of the Lands Department. And we've got a working paper on the review of this legislation. In this review, we're gonna put more teeth into how surveying is conducted in this country. We're looking at the registration of surveyors in particular because surveying is a profession, and the conduct of surveying is to be regulated as stated in the Survey Act. My office, the Office of the Surveyor General, is mandated by law to regulate the practice of surveyors, the qualification of surveyors, and also the standards have to be maintained. We control quality of all surveys in this country. The direction undertaken by the association, now it's called the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea. In the recent Survey Congress, a lot was said, expressed by the surveyors on the need to have more teeth in the Survey Act itself. We are looking at assisting from my office, from the Office of the Surveyor General, because the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea is the professional body that looks into the interest of practicing surveyors out in the industry, and they lobby for the interest of surveyors. They also set scales of fee. The fees that are charged by surveyors out there in the field is set by the Institute of Surveyors of PNG, and therefore the direction that I am taking from the Office of the Surveyor General is to work closely with the Institute. As we review the new Act, we're going to ensure that in the new Act, all surveyors have to be financial members of the Institute. If they are not financial members, then they cannot practice as surveyors out there. And that will be captured in the new legislation. They can get registered through the board, the Papua New Guinea Surveyors Board, have a certificate of registration, but if they are not financial members of the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea, they cannot practice as surveyors. I am also the chairman of the Papua New Guinea Surveyors Board. This is the board that certifies graduates to become registered surveyors so that they can practice surveying in industry. So it's gonna be good for the profession as a whole. My function as the Surveyor General is to regulate quality and to administer the Papua New Guinea Surveyors Board. The other aspect that I'm looking at in this review is from the Office of the Surveyor General, because that office is a statutory office. It was established by an Act of Parliament, and it is there to ensure that surveys are carried out with current best practices. Technology has changed, our legislation is outdated, and we've got new modern equipments like GPS, remote sensing, GIS applications. Those are not captured in the legislation. We've got to regulate. Another function of the Office of the Surveyor General is to ensure that the survey profession in Papua New Guinea maintains the appropriate technical, educational and ethical standards. By technical standards, I mean they have to be trained, that they are qualified to current standards. Educationally, you know, what they are taught at our surveying institutions like University of Papua Technology in Lae, that has to be regulated. The university has to talk with industry through the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea and through the Papua New Guinea Surveyors Board on what they are teaching at that institution. We don't want graduates coming out with a knowledge that is not regulated. When you have knowledge in this country, it is regulated by the Survey Act and the Survey Coordination Act. Survey Act regulates the practice of surveying and the training of surveyors. Survey Coordination Act regulates the actual surveying, what instruments you use, what technical methods are employed out in the field, what monuments you place in the ground to define boundaries. Those are captured in the Survey Coordination Act, and these two legislations are under review.
I guess you mentioned, like, land monuments, placing those land monuments. I think as a whole, the awareness has to go out to the general public as well as to the companies and the government functions. That the monuments that we surveyors place is very critical to the development itself. Those monuments, if tampered with, I think there is a fine of 2,000 kina for any monuments that are up there and are placed by surveyors. So our survey directions and the Coordination Act and all the survey acts, they're all defined as an act to assist basically the professional surveying, and as well to assist the general public with what we're about, what we're all about in surveying. Which is like, for example, land registration, which is one of the most talked about issues in the country at the moment, because currently about 3% of the country itself is owned by the state. 97% does belong to the landowners. Now we are working towards that 2050 vision that the government has set in place to empower the people to basically to be well off by 2050. None of this is possible if the surveys are not done properly and correctly. So land registration is another really big major topic and issue that's facing the country at the moment. Luther, as the Secretary, trying to register the surveyors is another big issue. I believe we've only got about 45 or 44 registered surveyors in the country currently operating at the moment or surveying at the moment, and those numbers are quietly dwindling down to a proportion where we have to get some new registered surveyors out.
Yeah, the Office of the Surveyor General has resurrected the PNG Surveyors Board because that is the board that certifies cadets. When I say cadets, a graduate with a degree from the University of Technology is considered as a cadet. Like the lawyers, when they graduate, they have to go through the Legal Training Institute in order to practice or sit at the bar. In the profession of surveying, when a surveyor graduates, he has to go through the PNG Surveyors Board examinations. They have to fulfill the requirements of the exams that are set by the board in order to become competent surveyors. They are issued with a certificate of competency as well as a certificate of registration. Currently, we don't have enough registered surveyors in this country. And this is not good when we are talking about registering customary land, registering the 97% of land that is held under custom. Recently, we've had an amendment to the ILG Act and also the Customary Land Registration Act. And in order to meet the requirement of government by the year 2050, they want 20% of customary land to be released for development. And how are we going to release that land if we don't have the surveyors? Surveying is very important. Surveying was the first course that was introduced at the University of Technology in 1972. Why? Because the colonial administration saw the importance of that profession. They wanted to survey all the towns in this country, the highways, the wharves, the airstrips, because without surveyors you cannot do those developments. And now we are talking about releasing 20% of customary land. How are we going to release that if we don't have the manpower, if we don't have the expertise? In the colonial days, we brought in qualified surveyors from Australia, from Queensland, from New South Wales, even from New Zealand. We are independent. We have our training institution. We have our national surveyors. We've got to train them, bring them up to the level where they are competent to conduct surveys. And in order for this country to have 20% of customary land released for development, the surveyor has to go out and demarcate or run the boundary of because we are using the Torrens system of land administration in this country. A land title can never be issued if the land is not surveyed, if the land is not descripted, if the metes and bounds are not defined. You will never have a land title in this country, and therefore it is important. Only a qualified by law under the Survey Act, only a registered surveyor is given the authority to conduct boundary surveys in this country. The Surveyor General is the administrator of that act. We've got almost 500 graduates running around. We've been graduating surveyors ever since the first graduation in 1972. And for us to say that there's only 45 registered surveyors, I don't think that's good enough. Government has met the education of most of these surveyors. They have to come forward. The onus is on the individual surveyors to come forward and do their examinations and get registered so we can assist in the development of this country. We as a profession practice surveying so that society can gain from our expertise. A road cannot be built if the surveyor doesn't align where the road is going. There can never be an airstrip or an airport if a surveyor doesn't conduct the alignment of that runway. And therefore, surveyors play a very important role in the development of any country.
Luthi, I think, I mean, you painted a bad scenario of the registered surveyors numbers that are dwindling, but you failed to mention the steps taken that are undertaken to have a graduate surveyor to become a registered surveyor have been amended in such a way to assist the practices and the projects to have taken by the graduate surveyor to reach that pinnacle of his professional career, which is to be a registered surveyor. You might want to sort of make that aware to the public out there.
Yeah, the board has actually relaxed some of the projects that are undertaken by a cadet to qualify through the board. So we now only have 4 projects, and I'm looking at the cadets to come forward, because if you are not registered, then you don't have the professional integrity. You don't have the self-esteem to stand among your professional brothers. There's engineers out there are architects out there. We share the data in order for a development to take place. So we have relaxed those projects. We now have only 4 projects. It's the engineering project, the urban survey, the rural survey, and town planning. And once you pass those, then you sit for an oral exam. We will test you on the laws, on the act, and the directions. If you will answer with confidence to the board, then we will shake hands with you and issue you with a certificate of registration.
Yes. There's so many pressing matters that are out there right now, and the awareness that we're trying to create now on these segments of House and Home is that the surveyors are out there for a reason. You see them out there working constantly out in the hot sun. The disturbance is there. A lot of the surveyors get disturbed out in the field by basically by disgruntled landowners or by people who want to inquire about what's happening. All we ask is, and all we're trying to create in this awareness now, is that we have been given a task and a duty to perform, whether it be by private contractors or by the government. But we do have acts that regulate us, and we are now trying to give teeth to our act by amending it so that we can do and perform a better job for the society as a whole. As a professional body, we ask that for the contractors out there and for the government out there to scrutinize who is going to do the survey for you. If they are not a financial member of the institute, then we ask that you not entertain the surveys and rather look for those who are financial members, and that includes registered surveyors. Surveyors are a profession. We are not a trade. There is a big difference. A trade, and there are very many good trades out there, like plumbing and carpentry and all that. But the surveyors, we are a profession, and we ask that we not be undermined as a profession, and we give them the chance and the opportunity to help society. There's with the International Federation of Surveyors that you mentioned, we do have support internationally to do that, and some of their rules and regulations we adopt as well too.
We are members.
The SG can sort of elaborate on the rules and regulations that we adopt as well to make our profession more internationally recognized.
Yeah, the Institute of Surveyors of Papua New Guinea is a member of the FIG, the Federation of International Surveyors. And it's a very powerful international federation, and they set out the code of conduct for surveyors. We don't just go out there and conduct surveys, and that is one thing that the Office of the Surveyor General in the new amended legislation, we would like to incorporate what the Federation of International Surveyors has come up with, the code of conduct, and the institute has to amend its code of ethics.
Thank you very much, Luther. the awareness is out there. We're trying to create it now. There are 3 segments, and this is the first segment where I've introduced the Surveyor General and the directions and the act that he has kindly made aware to you, the general public. We do have a website. Our website address is www.aspng.org. So you can get out at any time. You can get on that website and you can find out more about the surveyor profession in general. Thank you, Luther, for turning up and for assisting me to make this awareness out there to the general public. We appreciate it very much. Thank you very much to MTV and to House and Home for the assistance in this awareness that we're trying to get across to the general public.
Very relevant information there. Those of you who own properties or are planning to invest in properties, I certainly hope you took note of what James and Mr. Sipson were saying. Knowing where your property boundary starts and stops is very important, especially when you're planning on building or giving your home a major overhaul. Go by the book, get it done right, and you shouldn't run into problems that will most likely accumulate down the line. After the break, we join Bill Neal over at Brian Bell.
Mr. B.
Good evening and welcome to another House and Home segment with Brian Bell. I'm Bill Neal. We are all well aware that Brian Bell specializes in small home appliances. We have all grown accustomed to the Breville, Cambrook, Sunbeam and Integrity brands. In this episode, I want to introduce you to the newest range that have hit the shelves at your nearest Brian Bell Home Centre. Just released in Papua New Guinea, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here is Yova. Brian Bell brought Star Vision and Integrity brands so that we could better service the majority of our customer base, which are national Papua New Guineans. We made it easier for you to buy that 60-inch TV. We made it affordable for you to buy that stereo or that sound system. Well, now we want to make it easier for you to buy our small home appliances so that you too can experience using a luxury product. Yova has an extensive range. If you have not yet been down to your nearest Brian Bell to check it out, I can't blame you because it's just been released. But you will have to make your way down to a Brian Bell outlet because you just won't believe the prices. Yova represents quality priced for the Papua New Guinean market. I'll also touch on a few other products that you may be interested in. Yova provides a few products that belong in the kitchen. If you're a Brian Bell customer, as I'm sure most of you would be, then you probably already know the products that we stock. We have quality products from well-recognized brands that make your life a little bit easier. Yova is just that, but at an affordable price. With the changing times and the growing middle class, Papua New Guineans can now demand and afford these luxury items. Brian Bell makes this easier as it provides a quality brand that caters to this market. Why should you miss out on your favorite blend of coffee, deep frying your favorite foods, or turning a simple sandwich into a delicious snack? You shouldn't. That's why when you take a look at these Yova products, think to yourself how much tastier and easier your life would be if you had them. We've got coffee makers, 2 and 4 slice toasters, blenders. Now you can use up all the fruit that is about to go off. Slice and dice it up, throw it in here and whatever other ingredients you like, and voila, you have a tasty, easy drink to enjoy. Water kettles that come in 1.8 and 1.7 liters. Sandwich makers. How many times have you settled for a subpar sandwich when you're in a rush? Now you can place it in here with whatever fillings you desire and ta-da, you have a delicious snack. And to round the kitchen off, we have a contact grill for quick and easy preparations. There are a few products that I want to take my time showing to you because I'm genuinely excited about being able to supply them to you. The convection oven. Rather than let hot air circulate randomly, a convection oven carefully creates a uniform temperature with internal fans that evenly circulates hot air. Convection ovens are often more expensive than standard ones, but they cook food faster at a lower temperature and often with better results. We provide this one at an affordable price. Take a look at this electric oven. Well designed, small and light in weight, so that wherever you go, you can pack it and transport your meal maker easily. How many times have you had to cook in stages because your frying pan was too small? Well, not anymore. Because look at the size of this bad boy. It saves you time and effort, and your food does not get cold waiting for you to cook. The deep fryer. What else can I say except for who doesn't like deep fried foods? Case closed. Outside the kitchen, where let's face it, most home appliances live, Yova gives you a range of fans. We've got floor fans, box fans, and stand fans. Say goodbye to your warm and restless nights. So as you can see, Yova gives you a wide, affordable range that gives you quality at a great price. So come on down to your Brian Bell outlet and check out Yova. You won't be disappointed. Now, before I let you go, I just want to let you know that electric stoves are back. Perfect for any PNG household, these electric stoves put the trick in electric. No more having to buy gas, no more having to get dizzy blowing up the fire. Plug it in, turn it on and cook. It's an easy trick that makes meal times easy. They come in single and double burners. All the products that you've seen on tonight's show are currently on display at your nearest Brian Bell Home Centre. Yova, not Yoda, not yoga, Yova. Remember the name and remember, great products and great prices live at Brian Bell. See you all next week and have a good evening.
Best price, best quality, guaranteed at Brian Bell. Right on, Mr. B.
Thank you, Bill. Be sure to join Bill Neal next week for more quality buys available at all Brian Bell stores nationwide. More on House and Home in a moment, so do stay with us. Welcome back. We're nearing the end of our House and Home show for this evening. Some of you would probably still be hosting dinner gatherings to commemorate this day, or just quietly catching up with fellow servicemen and women and their families. Whatever it is, even just winding down for the day, as tomorrow is another working day. May the evening be a fulfilling one for you all. Next week on House and Home, our Besta Mum Miriam makes a healthy Besta mackerel salad. Dr. Ambi joins us for another mental health segment. Rosemary of BSB is back to give us the July update. James Murray is back to educate us more on surveying, and Bill Neal of Brian Bell showcases another great quality buy over at Brian Bell. This is where I leave you. Hope that your public holiday today was an eventful one. Certainly hope to have your company once again next week for another House and Home production. Until next week, from the House and Home crew and myself, it's good night and God bless.